it's the War Hipster here, coming at you with another Contrast Plus painting tutorial, and today we are painting the all-new Doom Diver Catapult. Yes, this thing has had quite the glow-up. It's very, 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 very big, as you can see. It's all like it's on a night base, that's how big it is. Anyway, this has been sent to me early by Games Workshop to build up and paint with all of you, and that is exactly what we are doing today. So a massive thank you to them for doing that, and well, we're going to jump in and we're going to start doing exactly that. Now, it's been primed in grey Seer, just like the rest of our Git Mob miniatures, and the colour we're going to be using first is Agrax Earthshade. I'm going to apply this over top of the feet of the bull, or oxen, and we're just going to kind of come up to this joint here, like that sort of thing. We're also going to apply this over top of the bull's face and over the top of that kind of furry bit there on the back of the tail. And then, yeah, we're going to come back in just a minute after this is all done. So with all that Agrax Earthshade applied, what we're then going to do is we're going to take a roughly 1-to-1 mix of Basilicanum Grey and Contrast Medium. And we're going to apply this over top of the next kind of part of the bull. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring it down to where the Agrax Earthshade ends. We're then going to wash the brush, touch off the water, and then we're just going to blend it into the Agrax Earthshade, like that. You don't have to worry too much about this being a perfect coat, other than that kind of blended bit. That's the bit that we really care about here. And the reason for that is the bull is going to be mostly black. And with that Basilicanum Grey and Contrast Medium mix applied, we're then going to do pretty much the same thing. But what we're going to do is instead is a roughly 1-to-1 mix of Black Templar and Contrast Medium. So we're going to apply this over the top of the bull. We're going to bring it down to around about there, like that sort of thing. And then we're going to wash the brush, touch off the water, and we're just going to blend it. So we get a nice transition between the very dark grey that we have now because of the Black Templar through to the Basilicanum Grey and then into the Agrax Earthshade. So with that Black Templar and Contrast Medium mix applied, we're then going to take some Berserker Bloodshade. I'm going to add in that kind of reddy hue to the feet and the hair on the tail and on the face. So we're just going to apply it like this. Then we're going to wash the brush, touch off the water, and we're just going to go in there and just soften that transition over the Agrax Earthshade. Same thing on the tail. We apply the Berserker Bloodshade like so. Wash the brush, touch off the water, and then give it the blends like that. So with that all done, what we're now going to do is take some Reikland Fleshshade And we're going to apply this over top of this sort of cushiony bit. Now it's not going to stay this colour, don't worry. We're going to be shading it a little bit later. However, this is a great pre-shade, just like we've already done a couple of times now on this model, for the colour that it's actually going to be. Just whilst we're waiting for all that Reikland Fleshshade to dry, we're going to take some Black Legion and we're going to apply this over the top of the claws. And so with that all done, we're then going to take some Blood Angels Red and we're going to apply this over the top of all of the tack of the ox. I keep calling it an ox just because that's the most familiar thing. I don't know if it actually is. It's probably got a proper name. So with that all done, what we're now going to do is we're going to shade that cushion. I'm going to use some Druchii Violet to do it. So with that all done, we're now going to cover one of the biggest areas on the model, and that's all the wood. And well, the colour we're going to be using is Wyldwood. Now what I've done is I've taken 4 brushfuls of it and 1 brushful of Lahmian Medium to make a roughly 4 parts Wyldwood to 1 part Lahmian Medium mix. And this is just to improve the flow just a little bit, so it makes it a little bit easier to work with. We are going to be applying this over top of all of the wood around the miniature. I'm just starting here on the wheel, just because it was the thing that was immediately in my eye line. But as always, when you're doing something like this, you just kind of want to finish the fight with each piece. Just take it a section at a time. If we start on these flat panels of this wheel, we want to finish the flat panels of the wheel, rather than kind of attack it haphazardly. Just take your time, move around the entirety of the miniature, picking out all of this solid wood. And don't worry about any of like kind of the wicker or anything like that. We literally just want to do stuff like that. With all of that Wyldwood applied, there is a lot of wood. What we're now going to do is something a little bit easier, and we're going to take some Snakebite Leather. We're going to apply this over top of the wicker. So with that all done, what we're now going to do is we're going to take some Agrax Earthshade and we're going to apply this over the top of all of these kind of ties and bindings on the catapult and the actual war machine itself. So with that all done, what we're now going to do is we're going to take 2 colours, Nazdreg Yellow and Creed Camo. I'm going to use these over the top of this slick up here. Because that's what it is. It's gross. What we're going to do is we're going to start by taking Nazdreg Yellow. And basically, we're just going to apply this over the top. Like this. Just get it on there. Like that sort of thing. Again, a little bit more. Get that on there. Just being quite messy at the moment. Because what we're going to do is wash the brush. Then grab some Creed Camo. I'm going to apply this like so. I'm going to go back to Nazdreg Yellow. Finish off the slick. Like that. Just going to rotate a little bit so I can get it on. It's a little bit that's dripping down here, like so. I'm going to wash the brush and get some Creed Camo once again. And just kind of stipple this on, like so. Up to around about there. Like that. And just back to some Nazdreg Yellow. Like so. And I think it's not quite dark enough at that point. So I think what we want to do is we want to get some Ratling Grime. And we want to add some of that in there as well. Because it's really, if you look at the box art, it's really not in good nick. So just take a little bit of Ratling Grime. And just down here. Add this in. Like that. Kind of haphazardly. So it's all kind of collected towards the bottom. Like so. So with that all done, we're then going to take some Nuln Oil. I'm going to apply this over top of our bull's horns. With that all done, we then take a roughly 1-to-1 mix of Basilicanum Grey and Lahmian Medium. And we're going to apply this over top of this rock back here. And so with that all done, we're then going to take some Skeleton Horde. And we're going to apply this over top of the skulls. Back here. So with that all done, what we're now going to do is we're going to take some Blood Angels Red. And we're going to apply this over the top of the large sun bit. Coming around here. Just trying to pick a place to start. We'll start right at the top. That just makes sense. So, I'm just going to apply this. Like so. And then once that's done, we'll come back. And so with that all done, we now take some Gutrippa Flesh. And we're going to apply this over the top of all of our goblin skin. With that Gutrippa Flesh all applied, we're then going to take some Black Legion. And we're going to apply this over top of the boots on all of our goblins. We're going to apply this over the top of the bindings on the Doom Diver's wing assembly. Or parachutes, they're probably more likely. We're going to apply this over the top of things like the kind of shoulder armor over here on the leader, well, the driver, and that's about it actually. Oh no, it's not. We're going to apply this over the top of the little tassels down here, and we've got some bindings back there on the skulls as well. So with that all done, we're then going to take some Cygor Brown and we're going to apply this to all of their clothes. With that all done, we're then going to take some Flesh Tearers Red. And we're going to apply this over the top of the bindings and braces on our crew. So with that all done, we're now going to take some Gore-Grunta Fur. And we're going to apply this over top of these bindings up here on the slingshot. Like so. And there's the occasional bit of leather armour on some of the crew. And we're also going to apply this over top of. Just like that sort of thing. So with that all done, we're now going to take some thinned down Iron Warriors. And we're going to apply this over the top of almost all of the remaining details. Now we are going to add a second metallic, but this is going to be the big one. So we're going to be applying this over the top of all of the things like, well, that bit there that I've just coloured in. We've got the kind of buckles and bits like that sort of thing. There's the wheels, the faceplate thing there, the armour that is remaining, it's usually the little tummy arm bits on the crew themselves, got the blades here. It's an awful lot of silver. So with all that silver applied, what we're now going to do is we're going to take some thinned down Retributor Armour. I'm going to use this to add just a couple of little bit of extra details and difference, or variation as we normally say, into the metallic. So we're going to take the Retributor Armour, we're going to apply it over the top of the little heads on the wheels, like that sort of thing. We're going to apply it over the top of this and we'll do the same thing on the others back here, except for that one in the middle, where we're going to apply the Retributor Armour over the top of the grenade. So with that all done, what we're now going to do is going to take two shades, Nuln Oil and Agrax Earthshade. We're going to be applying this over quite a lot of the model. So we're going to be taking the Nuln Oil and the Agrax Earthshade and applying them at the same time. And for example, all of our white details that we've got remaining, such as this one here, we're going to apply the Nuln Oil over the top. like so. And then, once we've got a section done, just like that sort of thing, I'm going to wash the brush and grab some Agrax Earthshade. Not very much at all here. And we're just going to apply this like so, in just little patches here and there. Like that sort of thing. You don't have to do as much as I've just done there. But that's what we're going to do for all of the white details. But in addition to that, we are going to be using the Nuln Oil and the Agrax Earthshade over the top of all of our metallics. So once again, we take our Nuln Oil and apply this just like this. Here we go. And then we take some Agrax Earthshade and just apply it like so. Just alternating between the two. Just like that. So with that all done, we applied it over the top of the cushion and over the top of the oil slick as well, just to, well, I'm pretty certain I forgot to mention that. But what we're going to do next is we're going to take some Biel-Tan Green, and we're going to use this over the top of the flesh of all of our goblins. And with that all done, we're then going to take some Reikland Fleshshade. I'm going to use this to shade the red tack. So with that all done, our Doom Diver Catapult is now what I would call a War Hipster battle ready, and it's looking pretty good. However, we're not going to leave it there, of course not, no. We're going to take it to the next level, and I'm going to do this by adding some highlights. There really aren't that many to do, believe it or not. So, we're going to jump in and start doing those. The first of them is going to be some Karak Stone. We're basically going to gently dry brush this over the top of all the wood, over the top of the Beasty, and over the top of the wicker. So with that Karak Stone dry brush all applied, what we're then going to do is we're going to take some Ushabti bone. And we're going to dry brush this over the top of the oil slick and over the top of the wicker. So with that all done, what we're now going to do is take some Black Legion and we're going to apply this over the top of the Beastie's eyes. Like so. But what we're also going to do, we're going to use this to pick out all the little ties on the cushion. So with that all done, it's back to dry brushing. What we're going to do is we're going to take some Pallid Witch Flesh and we're going to use this to dry brush the white details, such as the horns. Like so. But also like that sort of thing. But one of the things we are going to be using this over the top of us as well is these kind of cable ties. So with that all done, what we're now going to do is take a tiny amount of Screaming Skull. I'm going to use this in the back corner of our Beastie's eyeballs. Just like that sort of thing. So with that all done, we're now going to take some thinned down Evil Sunz Scarlet. And we're going to use this to pick out the eyeballs of all of our grots. Like that sort of thing. And I have just noticed that I've forgotten to use Screaming Skull over the top of their teeth. So we're going to do that later. We'll do that after this. But what we're also going to do with the Evil Sunz Scarlet is going to use this to highlight the red of this large sun device up here. And with that Evil Sunz Scarlet all applied, we're then going to take some thinned down Squig Orange and we're going to use this to highlight all of our remaining red details. So with all that Squig Orange applied, we then take some thinned down Skarsnik Green. I'm going to use this to highlight all of the flesh of our gobbos. So with that all done, we then want to take a little bit of Terradon Turquoise. I'm going to apply this over the top of the tongue up here. And so with that all done, we're now going to finish off our Doom Diver Catapult by taking some thinned down Ironbreaker. And we're going to use this to highlight all of our metallic details, including the gold and any kind of studs or anything we haven't already kind of filled in. So with that base all complete in the same style as the rest of the Git mob, our Doom Diver Catapult is now finished. And, well, it is massive. It is a very, very big piece, a great centerpiece for any of your Git mob themed Gloomspite Git armies. Just be wary of keeping it around Trug the Troggoth King. You might think he's stealing the limelight with this one, because it really is just massive. It's cool though for a Gloomspite Git army to get something so large. If you enjoyed this video, you love the channel and you'd like to support me further, you absolutely can do so by heading to patreon.com/warhipster, just like all of these wonderful amazing people have done. And alternatively, you could become a YouTube channel member by clicking on the join button below, exactly like these fabulous folks have done, scrolling up on the screen before you. There are so many of you out there that it really takes my breath away, and I cannot thank you enough for everything you do, as without you I wouldn't be able to keep making these Contrast Plus videos. And if you really like this video and you want to send me a little thanks, just click on the thanks button just below this video. Don't forget to share it, like it, comment on it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and to make sure you stay up to date, don't forget to click the bell icon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all very soon in the next one. Happy wargaming.